All right, thanks, guys. The Grizzlies take on the Knicks. That's going to be a 1 o'clock Eastern tip-off in the Big Apple. Now, the Grizzlies open the betting as the 2.5-point favorite, and the total at 203.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing steady and consistent two-way action on this game. So we've seen it move a half a point here or there on both the spread and the total. But right now, we remain at that original opening line. So once again, Memphis open 2.5, remaining minus 2.5. Total open 203 and a hook. That remains at 203.5 as well. Memphis is taking 76% of the consensus action. And when it comes to the total, 77% are leaning toward the under. Right now, the Knicks are plus 110 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Knicks in this matchup here, if you like the Grizzlies in this matchup here, it's going to be tough sledding for you. They dropped 11 out of their last 12 straight up. They're also covering just 33% of their games as the official road favorite. And when it comes to this Memphis roster, everybody's on the injury report. We'll get to that in just a second. The Grizzlies rank dead last in scoring, 29th in home offensive rebounding, and they're covering just 37% of their games when traveling. Now, this injury report I'm talking about, we have Caspi, Temple, Parsons, Anderson, and Brooks all out for today's action, and actually Brooks is out for the season. Meanwhile, Conley and Jackson questionable with those leg injuries. So that is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 7 people on the injury report for the Grizzlies. Not a great time for that. Anyway, actually, there's no good time for that. 7 people on your injury report. But anyway, when it comes to the totals, Memphis is 70% to the under in their last 10. New York's 8-1 to the under in their last 9. So with all that in mind, I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and take the Knicks plus 3, getting the job done at home in the under 203.5 in that one. And before we go ahead and move on, I just want to take a quick timeout and just welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Sunday's NBA, college, and NHL action. It is Super Bowl Sunday, so it's a very short slate of all 3 sports. But before we go ahead and get into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out at my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And with a documented win percentage of 71% in my last 21 basketball plays on that website, you're certainly costing yourself some valuable information each and every day you're not subscribed. Now, memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. So once again, please feel free to just hit that pause button right now. Open up your browser. All you got to do is type in patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take a couple of seconds. The link is in the description section below. And if you are a current patron of mine and you are watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You most certainly make it all worth it. February is going to be a great month. And with all that said and done, let's go ahead and move on to some lines and personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Thunder, Celtics, 2 o'clock tip-off in Beantown. Boston opened the betting as the 3-point favorite, and the total at 227. And since that one opened up, two-way action on the spread. Boston remains minus 3, but we are seeing movement downward on the total. That moved down to 226. So once again, the Celtics open and remain minus 3. Total open 227 down to 226. 54% of the consensus is leaning toward Boston, 58% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, OKC is plus 140 for some money line cash. Now, if you like OKC in this matchup here, just keep in mind they're taking on a Boston squad who's 8-1 straight up in their last 9. Boston's also 9-4 against the spread in their last 13 at home. The Celtics rank 3rd in points allowed, 2nd in defensive field goal percentage, and they're covering 68% of their games as the official home favorite. Now, OKC on their side of things, well, they're just 50% against the spread in their games that tipped off at the current number. They also rank 27th from the stripe, 22nd in defensive rebounding, and 27th in road three-point shooting. Now, when it comes to the total, Boston is 71% to the under in their last 7. OKC, 63% to the under in their games away from home. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Boston minus 3 and the under 226 in that matchup there. All right, next and final game for our NBA slate. It is going to be Clippers at the Raptors, 3 o'clock tip-off in Toronto. The Raptors open the betting as the 10-point favorite and the total at 229.5. And since that one opened up, significant two-way action on both the spread and the total. So once again, Toronto opened 10. That remains at minus 10. Total open 229 and a hook. That remains 229.5 there as well. 61% are leaning Toronto, 82% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Clippers are plus 470 on the money line. Now, if you like the Clippers on the road here, really not a bad spot for you. They're 4-2 against the spread in their last 6. They're also covering 80% of their games in their last 5 on the road. The Clippers rank second in three-point shooting on the road. They're also 2-0 against the spread in their games at the current number. Toronto, on their side of things, they're covering just 38% of their games when laying the points. They're also covering just 27% of their games, taking on teams between 450 and 550. Now, total-wise, Toronto's 5-2 to the under in their last 7. The Clippers are 62% to the under in their games away from home. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me the LA Clippers plus 10 in the under 229.5 in that matchup there. All right, let's go ahead and slide into some college basketball. Once again, a short slate of college games, but let's go ahead and dive into it, beginning with the Golden Gophers at the Boilermakers, 12 o'clock tip-off at Purdue. The Boilermakers are minus 11.5. Total's 147 and a hook. No movement on the spread or the total in that one. We're seeing two-way action, so half a point move here or there. But ultimately, we are still at that opening number. So once again, Purdue minus 11.5, total at 147 and a hook. 53% are leaning Purdue, 52% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Golden Gophers of Minnesota are plus 600 for some money line cash. Now, if you like Minnesota catching double digits on the road here, it's going to be a tough one for you. They're taking on a Purdue squad who's 9-1 straight up in their last 10. They're also a perfect 6-0 against the spread in their last 6. Purdue ranks 16th in the country in home defensive rebounding, 16th in three-point shooting, and they're covering 70% of their games as the official home favorite. Now, Minnesota on their side of things, they're covering just 30% of their games on the road. They also rank 249th in road scoring and also 260th in three-point percentage on the road. Now, when it comes to the scoring, Minnesota's 75% to the under on the road, 75% to the under, taking on teams allowing 67 to 72 points per contest. Meanwhile, Purdue's 60% to the under in their games on their home court, 6-5 to the under in their games at the current posted total. So with all that in mind, I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, take Purdue minus 11 in the under 147.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Georgetown at Villanova, 12 o'clock tip-off in Radnor, Pennsylvania. Villanova opened the betting as the 10.5-point favorite and the total at 155 and a hook. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing steady and significant money towards Villanova in the early going here. We're also seeing money towards the over as well. Right now, Nova's minus 11.5 with the total moving upward to 156. So once again, the Wildcats open minus 10.5 up to minus 11.5. Total open 155 and a hook up to 156. 63% are leaning Nova, 61% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Hoyas of Georgetown are plus 500 on the money line. Now, if you like Georgetown catching double digits on the road here, might not be a bad spot for you. They're 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. They're also covering 80% of their games as the official road underdog. Now, Georgetown ranks 18th in the nation in scoring, 20th in offensive rebounding, and they're covering 63% of their games, taking on teams over 650. Now, Villanova on their side of things, they rank just 162nd in home scoring. They're also 141st from the stripe at home, and they rank 211th in home field goal percentage. Now, scoring-wise, Villanova's 9-2 to the under at home, 75% to the under at home, taking on teams allowing more than 72 points per contest. Meanwhile, 2 out of Georgetown's last 4 games stayed under the total themselves. So with all that in mind, I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and take the Georgetown Hoyas plus 12 in the under 156 in that matchup there. All right, next and final game for our college slate. It is going to be Stanford at Cal, 4